Hi there, I'm Tara Glows, and welcome to my first Creative World series called Tree Town. The town I'm going to create takes inspiration from my daughter, who loves learning about trees, mushrooms, plants, and moss. She also enjoys Minecraft and builds with me. So this town will be made with her in mind, and I may even throw in a few fun facts about nature that she's taught me. So I hope you'll stay and enjoy. Let's get building. So I'm pretty much finished the flower fountain build at this point. I added in a few extra details after the time lapse, which I'm just going to go through with you. So coming out of the frog light area at the top of the flower fountain, I have the end rods and white stained glass panes, and I have them kind of like floating on the wind, like maybe like a magical pollen. And my hope is that once we get a few buildings in Tree Town, that we can do like a shaders walkthrough maybe at nighttime, and we'll be able to see the glow of the end rods and the frog lights. And I have some sea pickles down at the bottom, and hopefully the whole fountain will give off kind of like a nice magical glow. The flower itself, during the time lapse, I started out with light blue terracotta, and I felt like it gave it a really nice pop of color. Then I sort of second guessed myself, and I thought maybe it was too much, and I went with a pink terracotta, which kind of mutes the color more. So if you have an opinion on which color combination you think looks better, please feel free to leave a comment. And I'm also going to be asking my daughter. She has yet to see this build, so she may have a, feeling one way or the other. So I may still end up changing some of the coloring on the flower fountain. I'm sort of on the fence right now. At the bottom here, I waterlogged the mangrove roots in the time lapse, and that was so that I could add the fan coral. I'm using this in place of flowers. It gives a much stronger impact from further away. You get to see, a lot more pop of color. It takes up much more space. Than the regular Minecraft flowers. I did some bone mealing, so I do still have some like grass and like a few of the flowers I kept. I usually like to keep daisies and the azure bluettes. Those are my two favorites. But for the rest of the flowers, I mean, I don't mind them in like, flower pots and stuff, but for like the larger displays, I really enjoy the fan coral. It just has such a nice, pretty texture and pattern and just more impact. One thing I wanted to mention for the uh, pathways is that they are very sandy and very straight. And I use them mostly as a placeholder. So I want this to be kind of like the center of the town. And so this way I'm able to kind of figure out placement of the different buildings. So as I go along and the town gets more kind of like fleshed out, this is probably going to change. Either it's going to become much more of a windy path and more textured as it goes further out, or I may even change this to be much less kind of manicured. We'll see as we go along. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was the center of the fountain. Once I got finished, I wasn't exactly sure what to do in the middle here. I mean, the flower itself, really nice. And I like the, waterfalls coming out of it. But this was kind of dull looking to me. So I ended up adding some tropical fish just for some extra color and movement. And I also added, seagrass and some sea pickles and stuff just to make, the fish feel at home. I also added this kind of little stepping stone roundabout. So you can kind of walk around the inner part of the fountain. And that led me to noticing the favorite part of the build for me, which is the underside of the flower. I actually wasn't aware of how much I was going to like the underside of this. This is probably the 5th of these flowers I've built, and each time I build them, they're always a little bit different. I don't tend to like using like programs like Matica for more organic builds like this. So every time I build something like this, it's different. So this was kind of one of those little surprises. I really enjoyed the 2 different terracotta colors and kind of seeing the different layers and all the different kind of glass panes coming out at different angles. I really enjoyed that. So if you have a favorite part of this build, or you have any constructive criticism, since this is my first video, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know. In the next episode, I'll be making our first large tree in Tree Town. So I hope you'll join me for that. Thanks so much for watching.